I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think I actually might like Sonic Forces now. Well, to put a long story short, I originally didn't like the game when it first came out. I played it back when it released in 2017, and well, let's just say I had the same opinion as many other Sonic fans out there, where it was just a disappointment, really. All the hype that was built around it, seeing old bosses come back, like Chaos especially, made us think, wow, are we seriously going to see an adventure comeback? But then we were kind of disappointed that we didn't fight Chaos, and the story was nothing near what an adventure story was like. In fact, it was very much like what the rest of the 2010 Sonic games that Pontic and Graf wrote, with the same vibes, colors, and generations, and stuff like that. But now that I've played this game years later, after all that hype has died down, I gotta say, it's actually not as bad as I remember it. Like, I think it's actually a good game, not gonna lie. First and foremost, for the gameplay, you basically play in a boost-styled formula with Sonic, trying to get to the end of the stage as fast as you can, with all the different obstacles on the way, utilizing the different springs and platforms, as well as using the wisps and enemies for boost. And I gotta say, while those levels are pretty short, they do feel quite fun to try to zip through as fast as you can every time and collect all those red star rings. And they have a couple other playstyles out there too. Probably one of the more notable ones is with the Avatar, or as I like to say, with your OC. The Avatar creator in Sonic Forces was a really great concept. I actually liked how you could dress up your OC and put on a different Wisp-On to use in different levels. My most favorite of the Wisp-Ons would be the Lightning one. And while the OC creator wasn't really perfected, I would say it was a great concept that can be built off of. Now, in-game with the Avatar, I would say it was a great way of how to integrate the Avatar into the game and into the story as well. I like the overall gameplay with the Avatar, where you get to use his Wisp-On and different movesets to defeat the enemies and go through obstacles to get to the end of the stage as fast as you can. The last mode of gameplay was Classic Sonic, and to be honest, I feel like Classic Sonic was just kind of there. Like, the whole gameplay for Classic Sonic just kind of was there. It didn't really add a whole lot to the game, in my opinion. Was it nice to play a couple of those classic stages again? Sure, but I don't think it was really something that added a whole lot of value. That's just a personal opinion. Now, the story of the game was not amazing, and it wasn't really something to write home about, but for a concept, I would say it was actually not bad. I like the concept of how Eggman took over 99% of Sonic's world, and that there's a resistance squad trying to take the world back. Eggman had a new villain on his side, Infinite the Jackal, who is powered using the Phantom Ruby, and he also used the Phantom Ruby to make clones of the previous bosses from other Sonic games. And the whole concept of the Phantom Ruby is actually pretty cool. The fact that you can alter reality on somebody whenever you use the effects on it can be used in a really, really interesting way. Like, you'll see it in a couple of the cutscenes, as well as in the gameplay itself whenever you see the effects of the Phantom Ruby put on you. Now, I know that Sonic Forces cutscenes are critically acclaimed for maybe being a bit short, but also with the stiff animations, and I'm not going to argue that's a problem with the cutscenes. And beyond that, I would say that the dialogue may have been a little cheesy at times, but would I say these are the worst cutscenes I've seen from any Sonic game? Maybe that's debatable. I'm not going to go out there to say that it's going to ruin the game. Like, at the end of the day, if I'm having fun playing the game, that's what matters. If I have fun playing the game, anything else bad about the game doesn't really matter to me. Okay, I also know about the one scene, that scene, where Tails gets scared of Chaos Zero that every Sonic fan seems to complain about.
Whoa! Chaos! Sonic, help me!
Well, okay guys, like, I wasn't really mad about it. Like, I just kind of thought of it as, okay, this is just Pontic and Graf with their typical writing style. I don't think this is really anything to get wrapped up about. Like, I've seen people say how they totally ruined Tails' character in that one scene alone. Like, everything that Tails is built up his character with got diminished in that one scene. I'm like, calm down, everyone. I think, like, let's understand the context of this scene. Understand that Tails basically thought that Sonic was dead. His lifelong buddy that he always looked up to is dead. So it makes sense that he's a bit distraught. So that was kind of my context going into it. And Also, like, I just knew that the writing style of Pontek and Graf wasn't really anything near what we saw in the Adventure series, so I already had low expectations going into it. So that one scene alone, I'm not really mad about. Also, that reminds me about how Classic Sonic came in to the play, and like I said with the gameplay, even in the story, he was honestly just kind of there. Like, he didn't really add much to the story, he just kind of tagged along and left. And that's about it. And I know this is sort of like a beef that lots of Sonic fans have as well, is whenever they just threw classic Sonic in there for the sake of nostalgia baiting people into buying the next Sonic game. And I can get why that can be a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I don't like how classic Sonic was just kind of thrown in there. But is it the end of the world? No, I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. It's not, again, it's not what makes the game bad. It's not going to stop me from enjoying the game. Do I wish that Classic Sonic may have been utilized a little bit better? Sure. Do I wish that he maybe wouldn't have been in there if he was just going to tag along, that's it? Maybe. But again, did it ruin the game for me? No. Now, to understand the whole backstory behind Infinite's character, you'd actually have to play through Episode Shadow. Episode Shadow served as a prequel to the entire game, essentially. We also get to see how Infinite was created, and I feel like this was actually pretty crucial to know before you even get into the main game itself. I wish they kind of had us play Episode Shadow beforehand, but you'll take what you can get. Oh, and I know about the whole thing where Infinite's like, I'm not weak. I'm not weak.
I am not weak. I am weak.
Yeah, you're gonna hear that a bit in that cutscene.
I am not.
Now, story and gameplay aside, the music from Sonic Forces is actually really awesome. I really like the techno-pop feel of the music, and I will say it was a bit different for me when I first played the game, but now that I'm used to it, I actually really like the feel of it and the lyrics behind it. It kind of hits the feels, you know? Now, at the end of the day, did I actually enjoy playing Sonic Forces? My honest thoughts? I actually did. The first time through, I didn't. But I was blinded by hype. I will say the hype that the Sonic community built around the game, and also the marketing that SEGA did present us with, I would say, yeah, I feel like they kind of gave us the wrong idea of what to expect from the game based on the marketing. And I'm not pointing all of it at SEGA, but I also feel like the Sonic fandom also kind of hyped it in the wrong way as well. And these are also reasons why I generally don't like to get hyped about future games or any future content in general, because I just don't want to get disappointed. Without the hype or anything, I feel like I can actually enjoy the game, and, you know, I think Forces is a very good example of this. I didn't really like the game back when it first released. I had different expectations for it, but years later, I don't have those expectations anymore now that the hype has died down. And not having those expectations based on hype, I actually genuinely enjoyed the game. So my honest thoughts, I actually enjoyed Sonic Forces. And I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of Sonic Forces, either when it released or what do you think of it now? Comment below to let me know. And check out these other Sonic videos on the screen while you're at it. Alright, well, thanks so much for watching everyone, and as always, we are Eternal for Life.